shapes steel. The spirit shapes the soul. HOI. Iron sharpens iron.
Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Rejoice in tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. Yeah. We in captivity, we done lost our history. Disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets. Walking in darkness and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures. Murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle. Showing fruits of the spirit, we don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying.
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D-Nail over here at Guess Who's Cooking. Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And of course, we got the world famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773-992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday, all right? And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2, all right? You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking, and of course on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down, get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and being light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't tap my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
I know who I am today. You can't lie to me no more. I'm a child of the Most High. And you the devil, the Bible speaks of. Set my people free. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. Let them go. Let them go. Tell you the truth, this ain't living. Cause every time we step outside, it's attempted suicide, drive-bys and homicide. It's the everyday norm. Welcome to the eye of the storm, where we at war from the day we born to the day we die. Surrounded in the flesh, drowning in these lies from these white guys with these evil eyes towards our own kind, committing genocide. Sliding down the block, then a Glock pop, another brother gone. Tell me when it's gonna stop, cause it's so wrong. But Deuteronomy 28 and 54 will let you know it's all a curse. Plus we've been systematically played against each other. Only way to conquer a nation is basic. Hope you realize the truth and face it. We're the children of Jacob, and his kingdom we taking. But this generation will never make it. We don't repent and turn back to the Most High as a nation. I know who I am today. You can't lie to me no more. I'm a child of the Most High. And you the devil, the Bible speaks of. Set my people free. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. All these other nations ever did was rape, robbed, and murder us. Now generation after generation, we born into a sea of lies. With all praise to the Most High for opening up my eyes, and now I see the truth. Got me feeling magnificent. Yes, they hate us cause the drip is sick, but tell you the truth, if it wasn't for us, y'all wouldn't have shit. We that seasoned boy, yeah, the salt of the earth, and it's apparently clear through every verse. So it's Kwam Yasha Allah too, I'm dead in the dirt, I'm taking away up in the chariot. I'm trying to lead my people to freedom like Harriet, or better yet like Moses did. Bible in one hand, sword in the other, go to war like a Maccabee. Praying mercy on my people, vengeance on my enemies. And I don't feel no man, cause I know them angels surrounding me. So go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Let my people go. I know who I am.
Khan, Shalom. How's everybody doing today? Shouts out to the brothers. So let's get started. I'm brother Hashar, Namar. All right. Let me go ahead and read my script. And again, before I begin, let's give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the elders of HOI, elders of Bach, elders of Ra, elders of Baal, to Deacon Shawapar, and the Captain Arya, and to all the senior men and women who was putting in this work. I like to say Shalom and Shalom. Just bear with me, Israel. Kind of not feeling too well a little bit. All right. So again, Shalom Israel and Shamar. And here's another, iron sharpens iron class tonight. So again, we decided with all the tomfoolery and distractions and the world, and even in this truth, we got distractions, that tonight's title would be Pandora's Box. All right. Now, some of y'all thinks Pandora Box is something crazy. Maybe some of y'all think it's a box of chocolate. All right. Yes, for some of you scholars out there, it is a Greek mythology term. Please do not trip, because we all know at one time we believed in hell or Hades. All right. That's all Greek mythology. All right. So basically, the reason why, we chose this topic, because the phraseology is used a lot today. All right. So here is the modern meaning of it. All right. So the modern usage is a contemporary language. Open a Pandora's box. Now it's common sense, right? We explain to our kids, hey, I don't want you going to this party, because you may open a Pandora's box. Now, as Black people, so-called Black people, we don't talk like that. We never really use the term Pandora's box, but with this new generation, it's used quite a bit. I ain't gonna go into how we used to talk, but it would go a little something like, look here, little MNFer, what did I tell you? I don't want you going to this party because of all these MFers out there. Okay. So sit your butt down or get your butt hurt. It went something like that. All right. So again, the modern usage is open a Pandora's box. It's used to describe situations where a seemingly simple action triggers a cascade of negative consequences. Here's some examples: political decisions. Trump winning. Oh my God, I hate Republicans. Kamala Harris losing. Oh, the world's going to end because Democrats ain't in office. Republicans hate Black people. Right? That's Pandora's box. Also, it involves technological innovations. We got these stupid phones that nobody can seem to stay off of, or personal choices that unexpectedly create problems. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be a pansexual. I'm going to identify as a cat. Now you got fleas. Yeah, I mean, you got weird little, a collar, right? To get rid of fleas. But anyway, you got to be cognitive of what you identify as, because next thing you know, you got fleas and ticks. Anyway, so that's basically what Pandora Box is. Okay. It's a colloquial equivalent. So colloquial is just basically it's like, for instance, a colloquial term is something we're familiar with, like opening a can of worms. That would be colloquial. All right. So again, the phrase emphasizes the unpredictable and often uncontrollable nature of certain actions. Okay. So that's why we decided to go with Pandora Box, because Israel, we out of control right now. How do we know that? Well, we went into slavery. There you go. All right. And we still acting to be compensated for it. And it's not going to happen. I don't get it. I don't know why y'all keep wanting these politicians to keep doing that. You're going to open up a Pandora box, because if they compensate you, if they compensate us for slavery, right, we're going to find out who we truly are. But somehow, some way, black folks will still talk that way. Oh no, we not God's chosen people. No, that's the Jewish man. I love my baby Jesus. I love my white Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So again, you get into this Pandora box. So before we get started, let's we know the meaning of the title now, right? Okay. So basically, it's situations that simply triggers a cascade of negative consequences. Pandora's box. All right. So I want you guys to follow me here. I'm gonna be my reader tonight. Okay. So I'm gonna bring out Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16, because we need a reminder of who we are dealing with on the regular. You know what I'm saying? We just need a reminder. So the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16. All right. Everybody got it? Give me a con. Con. All right. So Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel meat sold his birthright. That man and that woman is wicked. And sometimes we say the woman is more wickeder. You know what I'm saying? That man and that woman and child and dog, they're wicked. Okay. Esau got a dog. You ever walk past their dogs, they always bark at you violently. It's crazy how they violently bark at you. Now we know most of the time Esau got these dogs trained, you know, most of the time. You walk by them, they, you know, but the ones that you know, they sitting up there calling you nigger every night, watching reruns of Cops from the 90s. Yeah. So again, lest there be any fornicator or profane person. Listen, guys, we got to understand, you know, what's going on in this world. And this is why we got this Pandora box. So the three subjects we're going to cover tonight, we're going to talk about how, you know, black people were not, how can I put it, was not fairly treated in the military as far as being rewarded. You know, it's called Homelessly being awarded. Like a Homeless award would be a Silver Star, Medal of Honor, stuff like that, right? So we're gonna go into that, all right. Then we're gonna talk about, you know, these sororities, all right, that these black women are going into, because these sororities, just like these jobs, are like the black woman's husband. You know what I mean? And then we're going to go into, and we're going to talk about, you know, the wickedness of it and how is worshiping a deity. And then lastly, we're going to talk about distractions. Okay. I'm not going to really go too deep. We're going to try to make this short and simple, you know. So again, that's just a reminder of who we're dealing with, because what seems to happen is we keep, we're, you know, people say we always blaming the white man of our failure, and oh, the white man this and the white man that, you know, and all this, you know, silly stuff. And it's not that we're blaming the white man, but he is clearly the person that's in control of America. Now, is he making you sit out there and sling drugs on the corner? Well, technically, he's he planted the seed for you to do all these things, because he got our women thinking all you have to do is get money. That's why, you know, when we talk about the R. Kelly thing, you know, he was doing what he did. He was nothing but a neighborhood drug dealer to me, because all the ladies loved him. And, you know, you get into the rock star stuff. I mean, he's locked up for a lot of reasons. But if he's locked up, there's a lot of Negroes that need to be locked up with this brother. There's a lot of white people that need to be locked up with this brother, you know. But what we need to understand is these other nations don't get the law, statutes, and commandments, you know. And so he got to pay. And, you know, maybe he'll get out in 10 years. I don't think he's getting out no time soon. I think he's going to honestly die in there. But this is showing you, and there's scriptures on that. Our stars will fall. You know, some people worship R. Kelly. I mean, I love his music. I ain't worship the dude, but you know, some of us take it a step too far. So again, just wanted you guys to hear that Hebrews 12. Just understand that we just not only talking about the white man, but he is by far the worst nation of people on the planet. They will do every and anything to your children. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this first video. This one is about a brother. His name is well, you'll see, Henry Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to go ahead and talk about him for a little bit. And he was a war hero, and he didn't receive his award from his Medal of Honor. His name is Vernon Baker. He didn't receive his Medal of Honor until the 90s, 1997. And I believe that's kind of talking about the Spike Lee movie, Miracle on St. Anna's. They didn't make it like the same, but it's equivalent to it. Okay, so Miracle on St. Anna's, that's a Spike Lee movie. It's pretty good. All right, so Barbecue Shah, let's go ahead and start that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off. Well, we'll wait till he get that started for me to turn it off. So, yeah, this is I'm gonna go over a bunch of stuff. You know, we're gonna play the two videos of we're gonna play this first one. Okay, here we go. Come on. Yeah, don't forget, don't make it too big first. Make it small and then go ahead and play it.
Now we have a special Facism report for Black History Month.
Our colleague David Ono joining us with a deep and sobering look into a secret chapter from our nation's military past.
In 1943, poet Langston Hughes wrote, "You tell me that Hitler is a mighty bad man. I want to know how long I got to fight both Hitler and Jim Crow." That poem perfectly sums up the life of a black soldier in World War II. And we call this episode of Facism The Secret Document.
Above the stunning Italian coastline for 1,500 years. There are many stories in its past, but there's one in particular that teaches us about America del Guadice. It takes me to this ancient fortress where during World War II, an incredible American soldier named Vernon Baker single-handedly did something unimaginable.
Several bunkers.
To capture the
castle. You can go ahead, you can make it bigger.
He kept fighting, dodging minefields, knocking out machine gun nests and watchtowers, and taking on German after German. Toward the Distinguished Service Cross. But with such an incredible feat.
The African Americans received the Medal of Honor during World War II. The answer is no, during the World War II era.
There's a lot more to Colonel Kowalski-Salter's answer, but first you have to hear the history of the black soldier in America.
Minorities in the military have always been an integral part of our military service.
From the Revolutionary War on, the African-American soldier has always distinguished himself with honor, fighting for our freedom, even though in many cases, freedom was denied to him. In fact, one of the most legendary units in our history is known as the Buffalo Soldier, all African Americans famous for their toughness.
Between 1866 and 1891, They were awarded 18 Medals of Honor.
Colonel Salter has a PhD in military history specializing in African Americans. He says Vernon Baker's story is just a glimpse at the realities of being black in World War II.
Yeah, so it was a
secret document from 1925. It's from the Army War College, which at the time was where primarily white officers in the Army would go to further their military education.
The subject is the use of Negro manpower in war.
It's a hateful study the Army War College used right up to World War II, teaching officers about African American soldiers. It's 60 pages, but its main points are summarized.
Combat duty. He is by nature subservient and believes himself to be inferior to the white man. He cannot control himself in the fear of danger. He has not the initiative and resourcefulness. He is mentally inferior to the white man.
It turns back all of the great things that African Americans had done.
Due to this study and blatant racist stereotyping, African Americans weren't allowed to fight until late in the war, and that's what that study wrong.
They were denied their nation's highest honor, but their deeds could not be denied.
In 1997, after a special review determined 7 African Americans were denied the Medal of Honor in World War II due to prejudice, Vernon Baker was the only one left among them.
And God bless you, Vernon Baker, and God bless America.
At a White House ceremony 52 years after his amazing feat, Baker receives the Medal of Honor. As a crowd stands, finally recognizing him for what he truly is, a hero, this soldier is moved to tears. It took an ancient castle in Italy to teach us about the great is a one true measure of a person.
When the war ended, there are many accounts of our brave African-American soldiers elated to board the ship home, but upon their arrival, the gangplank to shore split with a sign that said, whites one way, coloreds the other. The war against Jim Crow was far from over. And back to that study, so to speak, at the Army War College, you think about who it could have influenced. And you look at the graduates in that period they were using. General Patton, General Eisenhower, who then became President Eisenhower. And you wonder the effect it could have had on them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, I'm
All right, that's it. You can stop it.
For great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch.
Come on. So you guys saw that, right? So, you know, World War II was a beast. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they did them dirty. For decades, no black soldiers received the Medal of Honor during World War II. All were awarded retroactively after the 1990s. Okay? 7 black soldiers won World War II. 7 black World War II veterans were finally recognized. All right? And he was the only one that was alive. PFC Willie, James Jr., Staff Sergeant Edward, First Lieutenant Charles Thomas, Staff Sergeant Reuben Rivers, Staff Sergeant George Watson, and Private George Washington and Sergeant Thomas both recognized posthumously. All right, that was World War II. You guys got to understand something. World War II was a, you know, it's all in the Bible and stuff like that. You know, World War I, World II, and then three's coming up soon. But they didn't want to recognize this. But these Buffalo Soldiers, boy, these dudes was no joke. They won 19 Medal of Honors, because the Buffalo Soldiers was feared. They couldn't deny it. I want you guys to understand something. When you read these scriptures and stuff, name me one white man that fought with the Israelites and who rode on a horse and helped us fight, like side by side. See, that's our problem. You know what I mean? We too nice and we too kind. So we're gonna help other people fight wars. This is why, you know, you got traitors and stuff like that. I wish I would knowingly be an Israelite and go fight with another nation of people. This is our people. This is why we fell under these curses, knuckleheads. So I want to say a lot on this, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to the next video. But just to get you guys to understand, for some of you non-historians, World War II started in 1940. Well, technically like 1939, 1938. A man named Adolf Hitler. We believe due to strategic studies and understanding that he started the Nazis. However, he arrested in like 34, 35. He was arrested for like 2 years, and those 2 years, a shrink went to go see him. From the sources that I've read, he had electric shock treating, like he was electrocuted. Like shock treatment. You guys saw the movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch the movies. The Cuckoo Nest with Jack Nicholson. Good movie. He went through shock treatment. When you go through that, it messes you up, and it can kind of make you who this guy turned into. So from what we understand, Adolf was created. He was a person, but then he was created, if that makes sense. And then he started taking different countries, Poland, Czechoslovakia, all these different countries, right? And then in the 39, he was like, look, these Jews, we gotta get these Jews out of here, man. They stealing, they doing all sorts of stuff. They perverts. You know, there was a lot of homosexuality going on. And Adolf wasn't like that. He was like, nah, we ain't doing that we ain't doing that LBGQ stuff. We ain't doing all that. You know what I mean? We ain't doing that. We ain't doing religions. Like, he was getting everybody up out of there. Everybody had to go. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, he just started doing his thing. And then we didn't enter World War II until like 1942 or 1941 when Pearl Harbor happened. Okay. So that's World War II. And then the war ended in 1945. And Black people did a tremendous job on saving this country. And if you guys didn't hear the last part of the video, which this is news to my ears, when the veterans came back from World War II, when these brothers and when Esau, so-called white man, walked off the ships, it was colored to the right, whites to the left. Can you believe how racist they were? This is why the Nuremberg trial went to shit, Salakia. This is why it went to crap, because the Germans was like, y'all don't even fight next to y'all Black people. How you going to tell us we can't discriminate? Anyway, I ain't going to go on a tangent, but you see where I'm getting ready to go. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. So this brother I don't think you guys understand how this war is. So now I want you, brother, could you play that video that I just sent? Just play the first like 2.5 minutes of that. Baba Kusha. And then we're going to start the order. Then you go to the second video. But the video I just sent you on WhatsApp, can you play that right now, Baba Kusha? You can go ahead and stop it. Con. All right. So that's called Task Force 164 Armor. That's the first black all armor battalion. Guess what? Your buddy was there. I wasn't no tanker. I was a scout. So that's 164 Armor. That's Baghdad. That's Iraq in 2003. All right, that's a little bit. The guy who had the camera, his name was PFC Tucker. He talked to me all the time. He's a white dude. You know, I took him under my wing. He was messed up after the war, you know. And he was like, hey, bro, hey, what you think I should do? Because everybody knew I used to be military intelligence, right? And he wanted to sell the video. CNN was going to buy that video off of him for $30,000. And I told him, I said, well, you can't do that. You got to go to the, you know, S2 people, which is military intelligence. They have to go over the tape and black out what they don't need to see. And then he did. He eventually sold. He got out. So I didn't go on that Thunder Run. I was in a Humvee. We were going to go, but there was a tank platoon of Iraqis that was going to go somewhere. So we had to go ahead and destroy the tank platoon. So, you know, we beat them up. They came in what they call technical trucks. They didn't have no tanks. So we was ready. We had this thing called a Javelin and all this shit. So, you know, so just to get you guys to understand, that's war. All right. Now that's a war from 2003. And it's you know, that machine gun you heard, that's a 50 cal. It makes a distinct noise. You know, that was my weapon, right? That thing's a beast. Like every time it shoots, you'd be like, damn. It just to shoot it, it just it's something. But to make a long story short, yeah, that was my unit. That like I say, is a black first armor unit, and on it had a African elephant that had 2 white tusks, and those 2 white tusks was the only 2 white officers that volunteered for the unit. And so I was stationed there. It's in Fort Stewart, Georgia. It's called 3rd Infantry Division. So I'm bringing that up because during that war, I was supposed to get a Bronze Star with Valor, and it was political. It was a Pandora's box. It was like, and I was a specialist at the time, and I was out there. Let's just say your boy was laying them out, all right. And it wasn't just me laying them out. It was I saved lives, and I acted violent. What is it? Voluntarily, like it's valor, but voluntarily in the act of being a hero and all this other stuff. And they didn't want to give it to me. You know, they was like, "No, we're not giving this black guy this Bronze Star with Valor," and they wanted to give it to this Italian dude. And I was like, "No, why he should get it? My weapon was the only weapon." I'm not going to make this about me, but I just want you guys to understand what goes on. They was trying to find every excuse in the book not to give me this award. And I was like, well, my weapon never jammed. And then they was like, yeah, but you did this and did that. And yeah, it was just a mess about what was going on. I ain't gonna tell you everything, but it was just a mess. So I got an award. I got an Arcom Inviolate. The other guy, he didn't get it either. So they gave it to somebody who didn't even deserve a Bronze Star Reviler. And every time he saw me, even though he was Cuban, but at the time I didn't know we were all Israelites, he was like, man, you should have got this award and everything. I don't deserve it. Every time I seen this guy, he apologized to me. And I was like, man, it's cool, man. And that's the thing about black people. We're so, neutral when it comes to things. Nah, forget that. No, it's no time to be neutral. But we dealing with a person who's profane. All right. So I wanted to bring that video out just to get you guys to understand that's modern today. If I can take it back, yeah, I would have fought for that. Actually me personally, deserve the Silver Star. I don't deserve no Medal of Honor or nothing like that. I ain't do nothing that crazy. But I did some gallantry, some heroism stuff. And when you serving as a black person, you just want to just keep it down, whatever. And this is why we don't get these awards. So let's get in. Is my internet all slow? Sorry about that, Shalakia. So you guys can hear me. Am I sounding choppy? Yeah, I got to move on. Let's get let's get this next video up. Barbecue Shah. Now this is about the movie that we all saw and we all loved it. Okay, thank you, sister. Yeah. So like I said, I wanted to bring that out because like that's something that we recorded. Well, I didn't record. We were doing another mission, but we did a lot of great stuff. And my battle buddy, he's Puerto Rican, and we went through a lot of stuff, man. And doing all that war and stuff like that. You know, I was fighting for this country. Just like all these other brothers. So don't get mad when you see these brothers because we didn't know. All right, go ahead. Play it for about a minute and then make it big. 2 minutes and then make it big.
2021, Lyle Station Historic School and Museum recognizes the bravery and patriotism of Sergeant William H. Carney. The 1989 movie Glory portrayed the brave men of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, the Union Army's first African American regiment in the American Civil War. 23-year-old William H. Carney was one of the brave volunteers depicted in that movie. Over 3,500 service members have received the Medal of Honor throughout U.S. history. Only 90 have been African American. Sergeant William H. Carney was the first, earning the honor for protecting the American flag during the charge on Fort Wagner, despite receiving life-threatening wounds, including a shot to his face. Born a slave in Virginia in 1840, when he was 14, he attended a secret school where, despite the laws banning him from learning to read and write, he received an education. The family either was emancipated when their owner, Major Carney, passed away, or by following the underground. His desire was to serve his community as a minister, but when the Civil War broke out, he decided that he would join the military and help free the oppressed still living under enslavement, joining Company C, 54th Massachusetts Colored Infantry Regiment, the first official black unit recruited for the Union in the North following President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Two of Frederick Douglass's sons served with him in the regiment of just over 40 other African American men. Carney stated, I felt I could best serve my God by serving my country and my oppressed brothers. In July of 1863, Kearny's regiment led the charge on Fort Wagner, defended by the Confederate forces who were prepared for battle and fired relentlessly at the 54th, who continued to advance while often fighting hand to hand. Sergeant John Wall, the unit color guard, took a fatal blow, and as he fell, so did the red, white, and blue flag of the United States. William Kearny tossed his rifle to the side to grab the flag so that it did not touch the ground. After grasping the flag and hoisting the colors high in the air to lead the advance, Kearny took a rifle slug to his leg. Despite the pain from his wounds, he continued to lead the advance, gaining entrance to the fort where he proudly planted the flag, only to discover he was alone with the majority of his regiment killed or wounded. Hoisting the flag to lead any survivors, he was attacked by Confederates who saw the colors waving in the air.
You
Instead
can
of
stop it.
fleeing for his life, he wrapped the American flag around the staff to protect.
Con. So you guys see that? And I want you guys, some of you, you got to remember, a lot of us are in the truth now. Yeah, yeah, he was brainwashed because remember, he was that black dude with the glasses in the movie Glory. All right, raised with those white people, so he kind of was confused. And then they said he was going to make him, they was going to make him a minister, so he was already groomed. This is why they gave him. This is like, hey, Negro, this is what you need to be. No disrespect to his family or anything that he did. I was him. I was that guy. I gave my testimony. I sat up here many a times. Once I truly loved this country, every time that flag went up, I cried. Every time that flag went down, I cried because I loved America. That's all I was like, oh, and I would kill for this country. That's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? But now I kill for Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahweh Shah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do now. So whenever I see these brothers out here, I feel what I felt when I was a soldier. I was like, man, this and this. I didn't really like civilians, and not saying as an Israelite, I don't like our other folks. What I'm trying to say is we have laws, statutes, and commandments we follow. So when I was a soldier, I followed laws, statutes, and commandments. Like I talked to the cap. I spoke a few times to Chief Ephraim, shout out to Chief, about certain things. I did my military career, and I wanted to do Delta Force and stuff like that. I wanted to go Special Forces, but I said I'm gonna do Delta Force, which is, they call it CAG, Combined Arms Group. You basically pick your own team. Anyway, I ain't gonna get on to that, but I wanted to do all this crazy stuff because I loved this country at the time. So the same love and passion that I have for this country, you Negroes got to have the same. Shalakia, you Israelites got to have the same love and compassion for this truth. I mean, we see what's going on in the truth. Are you serious? Yahweh got angels everywhere. And contrary to popular belief, Satan is under Yahweh. All right. He's not the most beautiful angel, and he didn't go falling down from the sky and landed. Poof, poof, poof. It was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna create a hell. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Come on, y'all. Get out of here. Stop playing with me. But we believed in that. All right. That he was the most beautiful angel and all this other stuff. So what I'm bringing out is like, we are them people. And I need to do a different class on the Buffalo Soldiers. Them brothers, I'm going to tell you about the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers is like 70s and below kids. But I would say the generation that was born like in the 20s and 30s, those were like our Buffalo Soldiers. Even though we say they were weak, no, they wasn't. That whole, color sits here. That stuff ain't start to the 60s. The Negroes from the 20s and 30s and below, they wasn't trying to deal with white people. They ain't give about white people. That's them new Negroes. You know what I mean? So I just want you guys to understand something. Like, don't get it twisted. We soldiers up in here at HOI. You know what I'm saying? It's death to America. HOI to the chariots fly. That's what it is. We strictly for this book, no matter what happens. All right. And we believe in what we believe in. And it's not even a belief system, it's the understanding by Yahweh, and the instructions that he gave us in his Bible. So I brought those two videos out to let you guys understand that, and we all cried during that movie, Glory. That was a really good movie. You know what I'm saying? But you see what they said. He was going to be a minister. And they put who it even started back then. That's going into this distraction. They put who they want to be of us. And he had two sons from Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was a so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? So they was probably put there to watch him, and they know because Frederick Douglass' father was a slave master, right? And it was so ironic that this dude became an abolitionist. Yeah, all right, whatever. But it is what it is. And he's related to Dr. Umar. Now, Dr. Umar do a lot of good things, but if Frederick Douglass is somebody in his family, all right. So anyway, and no shots out to him, no shots fired to him, but I'm just saying, the so-called white man. So this is exactly what they wanted from us, our strength. That's all they wanted was our strength, because they know and knew who we are. They know this. Some of the poor whites were fed the Jim Crow racism BS, but the elites and certain white folk know who we are. We're warriors. Yes, Jim Crow wasn't back then, but it was sparking. Because immediately after the Civil War, the damn KKK started. And then right after that, like 40 years later, these Jim Crow laws came out. You know what I'm saying? Which they was already thinking about it. They just was doing everything methodically. All right. So the elites knew. All right. So again, no matter what, the Most High set these curses up on us for a reason. So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. Because those two videos we watched, that'll let you guys understand that we are God's chosen people. And again, only certain things are going to happen. So Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. All right. And it reads, the stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Verse 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Come on, that's self-explanatory. The officers, the sergeants, listen, we're not trying to say that Esau and these other nations can't fight. It's not what we're trying to say, because some of them did make the Bible. But what we're trying to say is the true warriors, the true fighters, is us, especially when we have our God, not a deity, not a goddess, not just some other God, the Father of us all. When we have him behind us, him over there, when we have Yahweh, Hashar behind us, there's nothing we can't do. So Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Okay, they're going to be above us. This is why they're trying to do the whole racism thing. Oh, I don't want no. This is why they have to write things. Oh, these Negroes is incompetent. They're this. You guys saw the first video where it said that we mentally inferior. Yes, we were mentally inferior to them. because they beat the crap out of us for 200 years and didn't even want us looking at them in their face. You know, soon as you, I don't know, walk next to one of their women's, they kill you. That's a man, that's a punk. That's not no real man. You think I'm gonna kill somebody who has interest in my wife because he's trying? No, hey, I'm gonna check him, but I ain't gonna beat the crap out of him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stoop down. I'm not gonna be a bully. You know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things that people need to understand. All right, so I'm gonna go to let's jump to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37, because this is what they did to us. They knew they was above us, and what they did to us, what they said, all right, well, let's get this. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Again, the whites go over to the left, the colored go over to the right. They call this colored. What the hell? If they laugh, if they hold their breath, if they're blushing, they turn different colors. You know what I'm saying? The only time we turn different colors is if we get beat. Yes, we're anywhere from light brown to dark brown. We get that. But for the most part, how can we be called color if we are brown? If you take a brown crayon, and melt it and stuff, and you try to put different colors, that's color. You take a white crayon, it stands out. You melt it and you put green and this and this, that's colored. You know what I'm saying? The brown, you can barely see the other colors. You know what I'm saying? Even if you take a light brown, you can barely see those colors because it absorbed differently. You know what I'm saying? So what we're trying to say here is that no matter what, you have to believe in and understand that this man is being used by the Most High. This is why it's called Pandora's Box. Okay? Because you are not following the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? When you get these health problems and stuff, you got to reevaluate what's going on. Trust me. So again, many Black American service members perform acts of extraordinary bravery throughout U.S. military history, but due to systematic racism, many were denied recognition. And I say systematic fear. Over the decades, several were belatedly awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military award. So let's go to the Civil War. 25 African American soldiers and sailors received the Medal of Honor during the Civil War. All right, World War One. All right, we had, of course, Sergeant Henry Johnson, the Harlem Hellfighters, the different things. France. Let's go World War II. We had no one was selected during World War II. No one was selected because that whole racism thing kind of took its toll. And the Korean and Vietnam, we had like 3 Black people. And then the Iraq War, we had excuse me, Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash. He saved multiple soldiers from a burning vehicle while on fire himself. Posthumously awarded in 2021, the first Black service member recognized for heroism in the Iraq War. Now you talk about somebody pissed about that. I was like, we ain't getting no Medal of Honors. That was crazy. In that war, and we done a lot. I done a lot, and yeah, he was on fire. The vehicle blew up and everything, and he pulled out all his guys while he was on fire. He's pulling them out, and we all heard about that. And they finally decided to give him his award a couple years ago. So I mean, it's so much crazy stuff that's going on. So we just wanted to bring some awareness to you guys. I ain't going to keep harping on it. So again, with the scriptures I brought out, It doesn't matter. We're never going to be above them. They're never going to. They messed up when they gave 19 Buffalo soldiers the Medal of Honor. They won that war. You know what I'm saying? Fighting those natives. So, Northern Kingdom gets the Southern Kingdom. So, so hopefully you guys got some education on that one. So we're going to go into this Greek stuff. All right. So the thing with the sororities, all right, it's saying here, these Greek letters and Greek religion, they're trying to say sororities are not religious. They do rituals and oaths, okay? And it's like, okay, so you guys do rituals, right? So what does a ritual mean? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean you just do rituals and it's not religion? So when you look up, rituals, right? Ritual, Shalakia. A religious or solemn ceremony consisting of series of actions performed according to a prescribed. A religious or solemn ceremony. So when you look at this stuff with this whole sorority, they're trying to say it's not religious, which it's a lie. It is religious. It's a sorority. And they take certain Greek words and stuff as rituals, and Salakia. It's rituals and Greek letters and stuff, right? Which it is religious. So therefore, if it's religious, you're calling on a deity, Minerva, all these different deities, right? So let's go ahead. Let's play video 3, Baba Kusha. And let's stop that video at stop it at 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Baba Kusha.
Why pledging to a Greek fraternity or sorority?
Oh, go ahead.
The divine
started at 30. Just started from the beginning.
I want to start off by saying, if you aren't familiar with my testimony, I was saved radically.
Yeah, started from. Did you start from the beginning?
And the Lord met me. He
The water came.
Physically. All of the things we go through in these rituals I'm about to name, they work you up to that final selling of your soul. Because basically what we did is that we sold our soul.
So you can be literally out here preaching and teaching and prophesying, but the reality is you are not in right standing with the Lord.
We can only sing behind the scenes. If we were to sing this song that I'm about to sing, you would immediately call us a devil worshiper and an idol worshiper. So this is a song that we sing as a pyramid, okay? It says,
what influenced you to join a Greek organization? This question is for Tia.
My story is a little bit different. What influenced me was I didn't have anyone necessarily part of a Greek organization. I later found out that my dad, though, he was a Freemason. My grandfather was a Freemason. I had uncles who were Freemason as well as aunts who were Eastern Stars. But for Divine Nine specifically, I didn't have anyone. But what influenced me was, as a little girl, I, attended this youth summer camp years ago when I was young, and it was on a college campus at that time. And so what I came to know is the students of that campus, they were part of Greek letter organizations. And so I saw them in their, their letters, their colors. And I was curious. I wanted to know who were these, these Black students that's considered of excellence, of, they are elites. And so I was curious about that. So I would say that was what started the desire, the influence because of that exposure. But then years later, I get into middle school, and my close connections of teachers, my cheerleading coaches, one of my principals at the time, I came to know that all of them were AKAs at that time. And so I remember seeing, their license plates and colors. And I was once again, interested, like, what exactly is this, and this is something that I really want people to understand, because this seed is being planted early and at a young age, and it's also starting in the school system. It's indoctrination, right? And so when I saw that my teachers, my cheer coach, and principal was a part of this, I went to them as a little girl, and I'm like, that little seed, what ends up happening was my principal, she actually gave me a folder that it had all of this, really held on to that folder, opened up this influence and this desire.
So essentially, you were groomed into it,
Yeah,
exactly.
From a
groomed into it as a child. I was that baby that was in future Delta onesies. Same thing. My entire family is a part of the Divine Nine. My mom was a Delta. She pledged as Spellman. My aunt was a Delta, pledged as Spellman. My brother is a Q, pledged at Morehouse. My sister-in-law is a Delta, pledged at Spellman. My grandfather was a Freemason and a Shriner. All of my aunts, all of my godparents, all of them were Deltas. That's all I grew up around my entire life. And not to mention extended family that are a part of I.S.I, AKA a lot of these wicked practices and things that we're going to talk about. You grow up seeing these things as normalized. And it's a very interesting thing too, because generation, I happen to fall into the third generation. And it's going to be interesting to talk about how a lot of those curses actually started to affect me in my life. I mean, generational curses are very real. My mom pledged as a sophomore. I ended up pledging as many other wicked practices that also happened to my family at the same age in the same year when they were in college.
There are a lot of people who have the same sentiments as you, who have gone through this, but they are afraid to speak up about it. They're not emboldened by the power of Christ and by the liberty that we find in Jesus to, renounce and denounce and come out and talk about it. So hats off to you both for doing so. I want to just open up the platform for you all to just take.
You can go ahead and stop it.
Share with us tonight. Stay.
God. Shalom. Yazayah. Yabashim Shalom. Da. All right. God. I didn't hear you. Can you hear me? I think your mic, check your mic out. Sometimes you got to go in there and connect your mic. You see where the little 3 dots at next to your mic? Sometimes you got to go in there and do a test, okay? Because if you have your computer hooked up to your buds, you got to point your computer to your buds and stuff like that. So go ahead and try to mess with that. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, all right. I can't hear you. So try to mess with that. Because you're unmuted, but if you have your headset or some type of thing hooked up to your computer, sometimes no, I can't hear you right now. Unmute yourself. Okay. Yeah, you're still muted. So go ahead and try to mess with that. I'm gonna keep going on, but when I hear you, I know you're ready. All right, so you guys heard the young lady on there, right? So they was talking about certain um deities for these sororities. Okay. One of them is Minerva. She's a or she's a Roman goddess of wisdom, strategic war, commerce, and handicrafts and arts and stuff like that, right? So this is from the Greek stuff, right? So you guys gotta understand something. Where do white people get this stuff from? They get it from the Egyptians. Where do the Egyptians get it from? Where do Osiris and Isis and Iris and all these freaking homo freaking dudes? If you guys listen to brother Hashar from AOC or General Hashar from AOC, Lord, he destroyed them along with other brothers. But they had so much gay stuff, it didn't even make sense. And then, like I said, you had ISIS, Osiris, and just all this stuff from the Bible. And then you listen to Brother Tariq and Dr. Umar, they're like, yeah, it's like, brothers, how are you going to skip over the fact? This is my thing with them too. How are you going to skip for the Kemetic community? How are you going to skip over the fact that there was a Bible? They did not in our because we didn't even have a temple yet. You know what I'm saying? So where are y'all getting this stuff from? We didn't have no temple in Egypt. We're slaves. We're being punished. You know? So once we started making a temple, then everything fell in order. They had temples, they had pyramids. So where's their Bible? Where is the Kemet Bible? Why is it so similar to the Holy Bible? It don't make sense. What happened to their guide? Why was they dispersed? And now the so-called Egyptians are in the country named Sudan, and they're fighting the true Persians right now. Where is them going into captivity? Where is the Kemet Bible to say you guys are going to captivity to fight the Persians? Where in Kemet Bible does it say your motherland is Egypt? Where in the Bible? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like common sense stuff, but our people are so gullible, and I like to use the word so freaking stupid sometimes that it's just like, bro, it's sitting right there. You don't have to become a Hebrew Israelite, but it's certain things that make sense. And these young ladies, they was like, man, why am I doing this? Have any of you guys ever dealt with sororities? All it is a bunch of sex orgies, people swinging, people banging each other, people same sex doing each other. It's all about sex. Just like if you're a so-called used to be a Mason, yeah, I'll challenge you. I know plenty of Masons. I know Eastern Stars. I know what they did on those boats when they have these little Mason things. They go on the boats. They have these Mason parties. It was all about sex. Masons are huge in the military. Swinging, pansexuals, gay, homosexual stuff, all that stuff is huge in the military. It's huge. There ain't that many people in the military. And most of the people in the military are atheists or they're Masons. It's a couple Christians, but most of the people in the military are atheists or Mason, or they're flopping. So you're talking to a brother who understands. So stop playing. So, shouts out to the sisters. I'm glad they got out of that evil, wicked thing, but then they went into Christianity. It's like, but that wasn't the point. The point is, even when I'm on the chat GPT and stuff like that, it tells you, oh, well, there's a thing, Christians, Muslims, all these people, they join these sororities and they still are Muslims and Christians. But she just told you it kind of interfered, or Salakia, it interfered with her Christian walk. You know what I mean? Go ahead, brother.
Can you hear me?
All right, shalom, shalom.
Now we cooking the grease, baby.
All right,
Shalom,
there you go.
Watch some more. Sorry, so late.
Nah, it's all good, brother. It's all good.
All praise.
Been holding it down for a little bit.
Yeah, we in here now. We ready to roll. Ready to rock and roll. Move and groove. You feel me?
That's right. That's right. God. So yeah, man, I was just talking about this sorority stuff, man. And so again, everybody, the sororities and stuff like that, it's it's not something you want to join. I'm from Philadelphia, and we used to have something called the Greek festivals, and we used to have it in the plateau. You listen to the song "Summertime." He was like, "Hey, in Philly, that's where we used to go, to the plateau. Is where everybody go, right?" Yeah, I went there a couple times. Wow, I ain't ever go back. I seen the girl. I don't know if she was getting raped, but it was like 5 guys, and they had her in a car. Girls walking around half naked. This is 1992. It was crazy. Maybe 91, and then I went 92. I was like, what in the? I can't be a part of this. I'm going to jail, And it was nothing but sex going on. It's broad daylight, It was hundreds of thousands of people there. I'm probably lying. It was tens of thousands of people there. It was so packed. Then niggas started shooting. I was like, oh my God. Everybody started running. I was like, I can't deal with this. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to stay because the honeys was looking good. You know what I'm saying? This when I was in the world. Everybody, wow, I can't be part of this. Then like 3 years later, they came out with Freaknik, and Freaknik was worse. They had to shut they had to shut Freaknik down. Freaknik was crazy. And you know what I mean? It was that shit they was doing in Freaknik. That was like Lord and Christ. Like I say, it's certain things I just didn't want to participate in. I never wanted to go to Mardi Gras. I never wanted to go. Just certain things. I never wanted to go down to the carnival down there in South America, Central America. I had the means to go, because all my friends was going. I was like, I don't want to deal with that. All them people outside in parades, daylight is hot, everybody half naked. I just don't like to be I myself didn't want to be a part of that. But there's people that love that stuff, And so again, with this Greek ritual stuff like that, it says here the common misunderstanding of Greek versus Greek gods. Some people hear Greek and think of Zeus, Athena, Apollo. Yes. The chick, the Roman goddess Minerva, she was the Greek goddess Athena. They just changed the name. So again, the Kemet, or the people from Egypt, they started their so-called religion, and then the white folks started, the Greeks and the Romans, they started the same thing, but they just gave them different names. Just like we said, Pandora's box, right? It was a Greek mythology thing, but now modern, it reads what it says, right? So after you guys see that video, let's get a couple scriptures, because our people been doing this for centuries. So let's get the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 11 through 13. Baba Kusha.
This is the book of Judges. You said chapter 2?
Khan, chapter 2, verse 11 through 13.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 11, 13. And it reads, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim, and they forsook the Lord Yahweh of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. Verse 13, and they forsook the Lord, and served Baal and Ashtaroth.
All right. So it's a who is Baal? The supreme fertility, storm, agriculture deity worshipped in ancient canon, Phoenician, all these different things, right? This is the stuff that we're doing when we go ahead and we go into Greek, Shalom, real Israel. When we go into the Greek mythology, listen, you Negroes, you guys got to read. You guys got to understand stuff. Everything that's put in front of you has a meaning. When you sing it, happy birthday to you, and you got everybody looking at this damn cake, you're chanting. It's a ritual. You're bringing demons to you. Like the movie Evil Dead. I love that movie. That movie funny as hell. But the truth is, when that dude was saying he was reading from a book and that demon was started coming and stuff, that's what you're doing. You're bringing stuff to you. So let's give an example, Israel. You out and we all know if you was a club rat. I used to be a club rat, right? So in the club, you have undercovers, you have prostitutions, you have madams, you have pimps, you have drug dealers, you have drug addicts, you have killers, you have hitters, you have people who want to trick. You got all these different things in the club. And then you got people who go in there trying to find a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, or just something for the night to lay down with, right? So you got all these different entities in the club. Who the hell you think is in that club? Satan. He's in there deep with his boys because you got all this tomfoolery going on. That's why whenever you went to the club, something, if it didn't happen to you, you saw somebody get shot, you saw somebody get knocked out, you seen a girl pass out drunk, everybody doing stuff to her, you seen a guy passed out, you seen somebody get beat up, there's a girl that gets stabbed in the bathroom, there's a guy and a guy in the bathroom, there's a girl and a girl in the bathroom. Like, you seen all these because it's a wicked place. We're not trying to say, hey, Israel, you can't go out. But if you're going out to the club where it's always 5-0, 12, whatever y'all want to call it today, it's probably somewhere you don't need to be. Take your wife, your girl you're dating, to a nice jazz cafe or a live band playing. But you don't want to take someone somewhere where as though you got to walk them to the bathroom. Yeah, I mean, you gotta stand by the bathroom and time them, make sure they come out, or walk inside if y'all your boy, you know what I'm saying, when your boy go to the bathroom, if it's 4 of y'all in the club, one of y'all gotta make sure he's good. You know what I mean? Because this is how we used to live. That's not normal. It's not normal to follow your friend to the bathroom to make sure he come out. But this is what we used to live under. So when you live under these niggerish ways, things will always come to you bad.
So okay. Man, you got to bring out 14 and 15.
Con, go ahead, King.
I don't, because see, this is what's gonna tell what the Lord gonna do to you when you do these things. It go right into what you were talking about. It said, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. You see that? And he said, and he delivered them into the hands of the spoilers that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies and roundabout, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. It said, whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil. as the Lord has said, and as the Lord has sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. So you jump in that water, you're gonna get burned.
God.
You
Yeah,
jump
I
out there,
was going
he
to
gonna
bring
let
it
you
out.
experience. He gonna let you experience what you jumped your behind into.
Con, you guys heard that, right? Judges 14 and 15. Yeah, Con. Way to bring it out, King. Yeah, the Lord was hot. Yeah, hey, this is how you know this Bible is written by us. He was hot. Ooh-wee. You know what I'm saying? The water king. So yeah, man.
He let him touch that stove. That's what it did. 14 and 15 tell you he let him touch that stove.
God. And this is how you done trained your kids not to touch the stove. And you're like, really, bro? You're gonna reach back up there? So this what we gonna do, son, daughter. All right, go ahead. You know, he was hot. You know what I'm saying? So again, we gotta come back. You know, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. We don't want when the Most High get hot, it's like your dad being mad. You know, I didn't have a father until I was 13, but he was my stepdad. So it wasn't my biological dad, Most High didn't need him no more. So he got rid of him. He was RIP, RIP to my pops. But at the end of the day, he blessed me, the only one out of damn near 19 kids, to have a father. And I'm thankful for that. But none of my brothers and sisters had one. Their fathers was alive, but they didn't live with us. So with that being said, when your dad get mad at you, it does something to your psyche. You're like, damn, oh man, because mom is mom. But when your dad get mad, you're like, oh, man, I really messed up. Pops is cool. Because back in my time, I'm 50 now, right? I just turned 50 on Saturday, right? So I'm half a century, right? So I'm 50 years old. So in my time, dads wasn't saying, hey son, I love you. Well, come here, man, give me a hug. They ain't do none of that. Nah. I didn't hear that shit till I was in my 30s, maybe late 30s. Because it wasn't something that mom or dad said. Now, some of y'all on here heard that stuff. I love you and stuff like that. But Yahweh, he loved us. You know what I'm saying? He showed it. He showed it through so many different leaders that we had throughout time that he loves us, and he's literally telling us he loves us. So when he gets hot, it's like, oh man, for him to get hot like that, boy, that's something else. So yeah, the water king. Yeah, I should have told you to continue with that. But yeah, he got hot against Israel and he delivered them into the hands of their spoilers. And this is what we're dealing with today, guys. So, these sisters out here that's coming out speaking, of course, these other black women aren't. I got one of my children's moms, she's pushing my daughter to this sorority stuff. Like, you ain't even pledged. How you gonna tell my daughter to pledge? You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? And my daughter, she's 12. She's like, I ain't with that. You better not be with that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a problem. And I'm trying to tell you, like, I try to raise these kids with a lot of the stuff we had, but with a great more understanding. Because back in the day, our parents didn't explain to us nothing. They just told us we couldn't. And we listened. These kids, they got Google. What do you mean? Hold up, Dad. You put $2 under my pillow. There's no such thing as a tooth fairy. It's right here. It's made up. So now they catch you lying. Now you done lost credibility. So again, Israel, don't be half foot in and keep your right foot out and all this stuff. You need to be 100 or the Most High. He's going to be hot. All right. So that's all I wanted to touch on. Hold on. I got a couple more scriptures. Let me get my notes. Let me get where I'm at. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. Baba Kushai.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, you say?
28, verse 36.
28, verse 36. Mm-hmm. Good lesson. This is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone.
So we already know the wood is the Christianity, the cross, and the stone is, you know, the Kaaba, the Islam. Those are the two largest religions to this day. And you know, um, Christianity has so many different facets to it. You know, woke Christians, non-denominational, Orthodox Catholic. You have Judaism. You have what are they called? Mesopotamian. You got all these different types of religions, right? And or different sections of Christianity. And the same thing with you know, being a Muslim. You know, oh, being a Muslim means serving God. Well, what's his name? There's many gods. This is why a lot of times we don't understand things because things are confusing to us. So, like we looked up the term colloquial. Colloquial meaning a phraseology of what's going on, and we gave the example. You open a can of worms. That's talking about, you know, the Pandora's box. You open a can of worms. So literally, if you open up a can, it's supposed to be food in there, and it's worms. You're like, what in the world? And you know that your psyche goes crazy right now. So with this whole Pandora box and with this scripture, that's what happens when you fall off, when you start to go astray. And we see this in Israel. There's so much stuff that's going on in Israel, which brings us to the next topic: distractions. There's so many brothers that's doing stupid stuff, that's, you know, just doing worldly stuff. Um, and it's like you I tell you this, it's so easy to go to church and look at your pastor in a Christian church and say he ain't doing right. Okay, all right, he ain't doing right, he's doing this, he's doing that. Now we Hebrew Israelites, we have that same sight, we have that same insight. We're looking at our elders, we're looking at senior men, we're looking at certain people walks, you know, and you can't let that distract you, brothers, sisters, because brother Hashar fell off and somebody saw me in the strip club, or where else would I be? And I don't like, I never liked strip clubs, even in the world, but I'm just bringing that up. I don't know, you saw me in the trap house or something like that, but I was trying to get my so-called wife off the, you know, I didn't know she was a stripper, but I'm trying to get her off the pole, or I'm trying to get my little brother out of the trap house. You know, we make judgments, right? And let's just say, let's talk to people. And that's the whole thing, guys. You know, talk to one another. Question. Don't make, because perception is reality, but to the smart person, speaking to someone brings what? Closure. So again, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over, unto a nation which thou nor thy fathers have known. And for some reason, this Stockholm syndrome is worse than what I thought it is. You know, this stuff is crazy. You know, look, let's just say, you know, when your I.S.I is coming. That's the worst thing ever, because we all gonna play around into 30 days until he come. Like, man, you know, I'm gonna do this. Man, he coming in 2028, July 17th. Yo, I got so much stuff I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this, this, and this. And yo, I'm telling you, in 2028 January, I ain't doing nothing. That's why he ain't want to tell us. All right. We already, you see what we did in the Bible. He already know us. He know our characteristic, guys. He know we gonna play around until 6 months 6 months prior. Some of us are playing around the 24 hours prior, thinking, man, I'm gonna get up there, I'm good. And then some of us is like, man, I don't even care. See, that's the bad thing, because all of that, I don't care. Your kids watching you, Israel. It's all about these young people. Some of us are doomed. Okay. Some of us did some stuff that we know I ain't making to the kingdom. But you don't know, but to yourself, you're like, man, listen, we trying to wake these young folks up. And we, of course, we need to wake up us too, because they're only going to follow the elders. But this whole beef with the old heads and the young bulls, yo, we need to cut that out. Cut that out. I get it. And I say this every time I give the classes. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, these young boys are something else. But listen, they're only a mere reflection of how we were. Do y'all remember how we was growing up? Do I need to say some stuff on here? Do y'all remember how we was growing up? Like, come on, stop playing with me. So, I mean, I'm only 50, but some of y'all 55, 54, 50. I seen it. Okay. We all kind of went through the same 60. I seen it. All right. So again, don't play. We already know. So let's try our best to follow these law, statutes, commandments, and not serve other gods, other deities. And this is what these sisters are bringing out. Hopefully these sisters find some godly men, some Hebrew Israelites, and fully get out of that stuff, because it looked like they went from the Greek stuff to the Christianity, which is good that they got out of the Greek, the sorority stuff, because I don't know if you guys know, but that sorority stuff, man, they be doing a lot of gay stuff. All right. And yeah, I got videos. I got a homegirl. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that. I ain't even going to sit here and talk about that. All right. But let's just know it's Esau, who's more profane, who's a fornicator, more profane person than Esau. So let's get this last video. Go ahead and bring it up, Barbecue Shot.
Well, can I get a preset while you getting that video?
Yeah, come on, go ahead, King. Go ahead.
We're gonna drop down to 64, man.
Which one?
64. It's gonna be the same chapter.
Okay, 64.
64. The Lord said, "I scattered thee among all people, from the end, from the one end of the earth to the even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone."
Good. So again, guys, that's us. We've been scattered among this world. We are in Israel. We are in Japan. We are in Budapest. We are in Singapore. We are in Naples or Nepal. We are in the Republic of Georgia. We are in the Bahamas. We are in Idaho. We're everywhere. We're in Uganda. We're everywhere. All right. We're in Mongolia. We're everywhere. Okay. And this is what you guys got to understand. He scattered us among from one earth unto the other. All right. And if you guys know what I know, everybody love brothers. Everybody love brothers and everybody love sisters. All right. But especially, these women out here, we're kings of them. Now they still, whatever. They don't want to be seen with you in public, but everybody loves a brother. All right. Great precept, King. All right, so let's bring this out. We're going to play the first 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Go ahead, King. And if you guys don't know who he is, he played in a movie called Half Baked. And he starred on SNL for a while.
Speaking of the Matrix, I'm not touching the files. I'm not touching the Epstein files. And I'll tell you why. That's number one. And this is all part of the circus. Why? You know how many of these images that I saw personally many years ago? And you know how many times I sat there and I watched people watching certain TV shows. They used to watch Ellen DeGeneres, right? And I'd go, you ever notice, I go, you know what Epstein's Island? You ever notice her background set looks just like the island? And they're like, Dad, you're such a conspiracy theorist. Every conspiracy theorist out there right now, all I'm going to say is, if you never believed in them, you better start talking to them, because the ones that already knew about this, I'm telling you right now, this is just wave number one. I don't know what they got lined up, but I'll tell you this. You okay over there? From my standpoint, I've been praying to God for a very long time that humanity will start to be aware of this, no matter how horrifying it's going to be. In my honest opinion, it's about time that some humanity understands pure demonic evil truly exists, and it's in your society, and it's your politicians, left, right, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, all of them, they're not your heroes. They're not your heroes. You're rock stars. You're not your heroes. Your athletes, the owners. You haven't seen, this is you're just getting the tip of an iceberg. And I'm not sure if some of you are ready for what's about to come. And this is what gets exhausting sometimes. When you know this and you tell it to people, and because they don't want to, they ask and they don't want to hear that information after they ask it because it's too much for them, they'll lash out at you and they'll call you a name, or they'll call you a whack job, or they'll call you a conspiracy, or a stoner, or you're just whatever they want to call you.
Yeah, Con King. So what he was going into, and you know, he was going into a lot of things, and one of the key things that he said was he wasn't going to go touch the you know, the Steam files. You know what I'm saying? Why won't they let that out? But they let everything, all these intricate, methodical, meticulous things of Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, you know, they show you what they want, right? So we're doing this to say, you know, Black people, we have to always play a role. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. When I worked at certain jobs, I didn't want to do all that. I didn't want to play that role. I'm not being your token Black dude. Get out of here, man. I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? And I'm not just doing it for I'm doing it for, like, I'm not that dude. Because at the end, no man's going to respect you for being that dude. No real man is going to respect you for being a douche, a punk. You know what I'm saying? Some weak dude. So I brought that out to let you guys, and it's the key thing he said. The people that don't want to hear it, they're going to lash out at you because they're mad at you. Just like when you talk to Christians. So you brothers that's in the truth, we get ready to end this class. You brothers that's in the truth, you guys got to stop trying to force things, trying to force feed your family, trying to force feed your kids. Listen, bro, some of your kids ain't going to make it. I understood that because I've been to war, and I understand some of the dudes I went to war with wasn't going to make it back. I understood the shit. Some of them, I was like, I hope he do get clipped. I couldn't stand that dude. All right, so like it. But some of these dudes, it's like, they ain't going to make it. I love my kids. I want all of them to get to the kingdom, but not all of them is going. I love my mama passed away now, but you know, I love my mom. I love my dad. You know what I'm saying? They ain't all going to make it. Okay, it's salvation for yourself. and you try to give it to people, but everybody don't want it. You saw what Lot wife did. We seen what she did. She was like, damn. Because her Lot, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. Her daughters were thoughts. How you gonna get your dad drunk? But that's a whole different thing. So you see what type of mama she was. All right. Come on, man. You know what I mean? She was told, listen, don't turn around. All right. You know, she probably was given the vision and everything. She's like, all right, I ain't gonna turn around. Then she thought about that, you know, pansexual stuff, and that night she had where everybody was doing something. You know, Lot was out there doing his thing, working, doing whatever, and his wife was a straight up for the streets. All right, that shit have been sexy red out there. Anyway, so let's get just to wrap this up. Let me get the book of Psalms. So that's to let you guys understand. Don't get caught up in the distractions. So let me get the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verses 1 and 15. Baba Kusha.
This is the book of Psalms 119. And what again? 119 or what?
Verse 1. Okay, and then jump to 15.
This is the book of Psalms 119 and 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord. Verse 15. I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect into thy ways.
Come. So the undefiled, okay, in the way who walk into the Lord. That's all you need to worry about. You ain't got to worry about Cardi B separating. Nobody care about Cardi B. I mean, you know, she's one of us. I feel for the sister, but how you gonna marry a hoe and then sleep with a hoe? Like, what is wrong with you? This dude got 4 baby mamas. What was you expecting? And she's just rubbing it off like you mad. How you mad and you married? Like, she don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And so I bring her up. Like, it ain't just Cardi B. We're not picking on women, and we're not picking on Stefan. However, we got to understand the sense of that. The woman's still going through a divorce. Listen, ladies, and a lot of y'all out there, and I know some of y'all been beaten, battered. Listen, you can't jump on another pogo stick, and you got a pogo stick in reserve. We call it monkey branching. You can't hang on to one tree and then grab the other branch and be like, all right, I'm good, and then swing to it. That's not how that shit works. Okay? You guys got to cut that out, man. All right? Your vagina is made for one penis, and that's it. And if you don't understand it, y'all need to go talk to a prostitute. Okay? Because prostitutes, they will tell you, listen, ladies, most prostitutes are on drugs because they sleep with multiple men. What are you on? Y'all acting like y'all like men. Y'all can't have 2, 3, 4 penises. It don't mix for you. That's going to be trouble because one of these dudes is crazy. One of these dudes is a silverback lion. Have you ever ran into a silverback lion, nigga? He's killing me. He's killing you. He's killing your kids. Okay? So when you run into these silverback lion dudes, and you out here, oh, I'm gonna be just like, I'm gonna be just like I'm gonna be just like Brother Hashar. I'm gonna do what they do. You can't. You're not made like that. And we're not picking on you ladies, but ladies, please, you're gonna get yourself hurt out here. It's different spirits, okay? And you brothers, stop. Stefan, he preyed on the weak. How you gonna mess with a baby mama, bro? You know she's hurt from Offset. You gonna prey on that girl? Yeah, it's Cardi B. She's hurt. We can all see it as men. She is hurt. That boy hurt that girl feelings. Yes, I know she used to be a stripper. She set up dudes. I get it. But at the end of the day, she's still a woman. She's hurting. She don't know what to do because she ain't got no proper guidance. She's a millionaire. She don't know what she's doing. So again, blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the Lord. And she's a distraction. Okay? Epstein, distraction. This Trump not letting the black governor, distraction. All these things are distraction, okay? Let me get this last one. Colossians 2, verse 8. Baba Kusha. All right. So this is the last one for the distraction. The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Baba Kusha.
This is the book of Colossians 2 and verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
All right, everybody. So we're gonna wrap this up. You guys see the scripture. Come on, it's common sense. Stop listening to the so-called white man and other nations. Stop listening to these Negroes who don't know what the heck they talking about some Kemet. You know what I'm saying? All these dudes was banging each other. How you gonna skip past that? Ain't no Israelites in the Bible was banging other Israelites. They keep talking about Abraham married a 3-year-old. Shut up. Nobody married no damn 12-year-old girl. Are you serious? They always talk about Israel. They try to reach. Listen, don't get cooked on this vain deceit and traditions of men, okay? And let's get Ecclesiastes. So that's the end of the class, guys. We touched on the disrespectfulness and the soldiers, the military service member that served in the military and who never get pompously awarded, who always get overlooked. There were no World War II veterans that got Medal of Honors until the 90s. That's how bad it was. Yes, we had other Medal of Honors during the other wars, but World War II, they was like, hell nah. Okay. And then we talked about the sisters and the sororities. And then the last one was the distraction. What's going on now? Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in to tonight's class. And, Brother Yazian, he's going to go ahead and read Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 and 14, and then lead us into the Paleo Hebrew prayer. And I'll do the English. Here we go.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, which is Yahweh, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For Yahweh shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Everybody turn to the east, please.
Good.
Everybody turn to the east, please. This is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa Sabat Mayim Podash Haya Sunka Yahweh Malakwaka Taba'a Ratazaka Haya Isa Barataza Kaya Haya Basamayim Latan Ladara Lakum Kaliyawam Wasalak Nawa Kawawak Nawa Kasalak Nawa Kawawaki Nawa Wala'a Tabaya Nawa Barasaya Wan Abal Hawasaya Nawa Maya Rakaya Laka Hamalakwa Wa'ala Wa'ataya Para Lawalam Yam. Amen.
Amen. God, this is the Lord's Prayer in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
Khan. Hey, I just want you guys, love all of y'all. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's class. HOI to the Chariots Fly, Death to America, and Shalom. What you got, Ak?
Shalom.
Shalom.
All praise by Shema Mashiach Yahweh. All praise.
All praise.
Thank you for having me. Thank y'all for having me. All praise.
Khan, Kane. Kwam Masharala.
Khan Yasharala.
Yeah.
Yeah.